Good afternoon, good morning, and good night. How's everybody? This is Isabel Starck coming to you live from Toronto, and you are here at the Empower Hour. Sorry, I just have a couple screens going on right now. Yeah, this is what a wonderful day, huh? It's beautiful and sunny today, and we have a very, very special guest for you today. His name is Mero Samuel, and he actually happens to be my coach. So he will be joining us shortly. I need to make sure that he's invited properly, though, so just bear with me 1 second while I make sure that he is invited. Let's see. So how is everyone doing today? Remember, if you are actually watching through YouTube and you would like to join the conversation, all you'll have to do is click on the little box down here that says join the conversation, and you will be able to ask a question directly. So let's see here, make sure this is all on. Perfect. Hi, there we go. All right, so make sure the Q&A is open. Fabulous. Okay. So again, if you're watching through YouTube, you'd like to join the conversation, ask a question, please feel free to click on the button down here that says join the conversation. And when you're done with that, you'll need to hover on the Google squares that are either in this area or this area here. And hover over that, you'll see a Q&A app pop open. And click on that, a sidebar will open up and you can type in your question there live, and we will be able to help you with that today. So, all right, let's just make sure that this link has been sent out proper. Copy and paste. There we go. That's the thing about Google Hangouts. You always need to make sure that they have the most active link to be able to join and sign in with. So Mero will be joining us soon, and until then, you have me. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, this is Isabel Starck. I'm your business and empowerment coach. Most of you have probably come to us from the Fiercely Feminine Entrepreneur Group, and I want to thank you for joining us today. If you don't know what that group is, it's actually a Facebook group that I've created, and we have a little bit more than 1,500 members in there. It's quite an active group. It's a place for female entrepreneurs to connect, to support, and inspire. So, hi, good morning. I see we have Valerie on board here. So good morning, I can hear and see you just fine. Fabulous. Thank you very much for letting me know, because sometimes the sound could be a little bit off with us. But really happy to have you on, and really happy to share with you my coach today, my personal coach. So I've been working with Mero Samuel for about a month now, and yeah, he's a very, very highly respected coach in the industry. He's been doing this for a number of years, and beyond that, he's also built multiple six-figure businesses. So he'll be coming on shortly to share with us about how he was able to do that, what got him into coaching, and what he loves about it most. So I'm really excited to share him with you today, and I really can't wait for him to join us. But until he does, why don't we, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in. I know Valerie, we spoke just a couple days ago, so if there's anything that comes up for you, please feel free to ask. But I want to share with you a little bit about what's happening since the last week. You know, one of the things that really did come up, and if you're on my mailing list, you probably heard about this as well, is the thought of gratitude, and really being able to embody gratitude, and not just give gratitude for the things that it is that you receive, you know, to be thankful for, you know, for your family or for your health, but to also be able to embody gratitude in the sense of you being given gratitude. So someone being gracious for the things that you've done for them. And I use the example of my son, because every time I go pick him up from school, He's that little toddler, but every time he sees me, it's like this joy on his face, and he runs to me and he always says, you know, Mama came back. And I needed to write and share with you all about being able to receive that gratitude from him, and being able just to be in that moment and allow him to express it and me to receive it. There is a lot of happiness and joy and just real true connection that happens when you're able to receive gratitude. So I'm just wondering if any of the listeners on have had any experience with gratitude, and if something similar has ever happened to you regarding gratitude, and maybe how is it that you receive gratitude. Gratitude could be something as little as, you know, somebody complimenting you on your sandals, for example, or on, you know, the shirt that you have. And I can remember a time in my life where, you know, it was almost like I would put it down and say, oh, these old things, or, you know what, this was a hand-me-down, or whatever it was. And I was never, or it was very difficult for me just to say thank you and really receive it. But practicing that, I practice, you know, receiving gratitude for many years now. And the joy, the look on the face of the person who actually is able to give you that is really priceless. You can't imagine what it's like until you actually allow them to experience them just being gracious for you. So it's a really great honor, and it's a great practice to really do. Of course, so are these gratitude challenges that everybody has going on right now about being gracious for everything that's around you. But I also welcome you to look at inside and receive the gratitude that others have for you. So I'm sorry, I keep looking at my phone just to make sure that there are not messages from our guests as to, oh, here we go. It was. So let me try and message him here, make sure that he is receiving this. Sorry about that. Technology, right? This is what we have to deal with in the 21st century. All right. Thank you all for your patience. Really appreciate it. So let's see. What else do we want to talk about here today? Regarding coaching, you know, I know that we're now, this is our 11th episode. So, you know, there are just so many things and different topics that we can talk about. And I think one of the things that I always ask my viewers and the people who I'm interviewing are a few questions that maybe you would like me to answer for yourself. So I have a few of them written down here, but you know, it's actually like defining success. I always ask the person who I'm interviewing how they define success. So asking it of myself, how do I define success? For me, success is on a lot of different levels. If you've been in the group, you realize that I have a plan that I work on every day, and it consists of personal, livelihood, activity, and nurturing of myself. So for me to be a success, I feel that all of those things have to be in balance. So whatever it is, the goals that I have actually set for myself, that I have been able to attain them. And being realistic with the goals that I have is also, I believe, very crucial. And being able to embody the fact that, you know, if you're not able to accomplish a goal, that, you know, you can reevaluate, and maybe that goal is no longer serving you. But for the most part, if it's something that you really aim for and you desire to have, nothing, and absolutely nothing, will actually stop you from getting it. The only thing that can really stop you is yourself and your thoughts and your actions and not being persistent, which, talking about success, I would say the key to success is being persistent in all of your goals. So all of the things that you ever want to accomplish and do in your life, it really comes down to persistence. We can all think about goals that we might want to accomplish, things that we would like to have, kind of dreams even that we would want to get done and see happen in our lives. But if we don't set a clear plan as to how to achieve those goals, or at least a structure to get us there, it's not going to poof, just appear one day. If you look at all the successful people, there's plenty of biographies out there. If you read them all, you're going to notice that there is like one component that is present in all of them, and that's them really being persistent with what it is that they're trying to accomplish. I mean, there are some people that have been working at a goal for decades, and then it finally comes through and they become this like overnight wonder, but it's really not an overnight wonder. It's the practice of them being persistent with what it is that they accomplish and really desire to have. So I know I mentioned not long ago regarding the book club and the challenge that I'm on for myself, reading one book a week, that I actually read. One of my favorite books for wealth consciousness, and specifically, is Think and Grow Rich. And there is a secret in Think and Grow Rich. And everybody that I've spoken to pretty much comes up with a different secret that they heard. So I would actually like to hear from the audience, and whether you type it in the chat box here or you actually type it down in the comments below, I would just love to hear if you have read that book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. What do you think the secret is, or what is the secret for you within that book? What did you find that really was the aha? Did you get it on the first time around? I know for myself, I listened to the book, so it's more of an audiobook for me. And I was so intent on really hearing the word, because he does mention that word in each and every chapter. And, I honed in on one. Everybody I talk to, everybody seems to have a certain word or description as to what it means for them. But for me, what I took away was really the level of success. It comes down to persistence. And obviously you need to have faith. Obviously you need to at least think about a goal, and you do have to take action. But when the action fails, you got to be persistent and keep on with the action. When the idea maybe starts to dwindle, you got to be persistent and keep thinking about it. And when you lose faith in yourself, when you start to wonder, can I really achieve this? Can this really happen? You need to really dig deep down and be persistent in your faith that it's going to happen. And that's how you will see it happen and see it come true. So I just want to double check here. Excuse me for those who are watching. I am making sure that we can receive our guest. I only see, I don't see him on yet. Just going to double check here. Pardon me while I pause. All right, thank goodness for technology, right? Being able to speak live to you here and also be able to communicate with our special guest who's joining us shortly. So take that in. Take that whole thought and idea about being persistent, having a clear plan and putting it into action, and really, really having the faith to see it through. Just kind of embody that. Understand that you too can achieve everything that you believe in your mind. Anything that you see in others is something that you see within yourself. You see people being successful, you can actually have that success. It just takes you doing things in a certain way. It takes you being persistent in your actions and having faith that they're actually going to come true. And I know for myself, when I look at my history and the things that I have actually gone through, that's always been the case. And that was even before I read Napoleon Hill. It was always about me being persistent in my actions to achieve whatever goals I desired. So I'm really glad that we had that little chat to be able to talk about that. That's what I think success is for me, how I define it. Now, the next question that I'm going to go ahead and answer for you is regarding the tools that I use to get it all done. As you all know, or maybe you don't, I'm really great or really big, at least, on time management. And I do overall believe that, especially for us entrepreneurs, our businesses and our personal lives are really intertwined. If one is lacking, the other one suffers, and vice versa. And I haven't met an entrepreneur who that's not true for. I believe that as they are both intertwined, you are always going to have, maybe some challenges that you're going to need to get through, but also just some clarity around what it is that you need to work on. There might be something coming up in your personal life that is somewhat hidden from your business life, and you don't think it affects it whatsoever. But if you really spend a little bit of time and just get a little bit more curious as to why these things are happening, you'll notice that it is affecting your business life in a certain way. Maybe it's not in the same direct way, but it might be causing you from achieving the success that you really desire to achieve. So some of the tools that I use, obviously I do have a coach, so working with a coach is utmost importance. I think when you're in your life and you're looking at your business and your life and the things that are happening, to be able to have someone with an outside perspective, to be able to look in and really help you see what it is that you can't see, because you're too close. You're in it. I'm sure you've heard this before. Even with the husband-wife deal. I mean, my husband and I, we worked together for many years, and we were almost too involved and too close to be able to see what it is that we needed in certain aspects of ourselves. I could see it for him, he could see it for me, but sometimes we couldn't see it for one another. So having, like I said, a coach is very helpful and useful to be able to take you to that next level. Sorry, I just keep looking down to make sure that our guest is not messaging me. Some other tools and resources that I use, I do live by my calendar. I love writing things out. I'm kind of a little bit old school with that. I do, however, use my iPhone calendar. So anything with a message or reminder that needs to come up, I make sure that I actually transfer it into my calendar. So iPhone calendar is really top. And my other calendar, I don't have it here right next to me, but I really break down my goals. So my goals are really planned out about 90 days out. So I have quarterly goals that I plan. I break it down into monthly goals. And my biggest takeaway with that is being able to define the sequence. So you might have a 90-day goal, for example, but if you're not taking small little steps every day, or at least a few times a week to be able to attain that goal, you might find yourself at the end of 90 days not achieving the goal, and maybe disappointed, maybe giving up on it, maybe throwing it away altogether, or starting over again. So you really want to set yourself up for success and be able to create attainable goals. Say, for example, you want to reach, $10,000 a month. Well, you can't wait until the 30th or the last day of the month to say, okay, now I'm going to make that $10,000. No, you need to break it down into small goals to be able to achieve the grand goal. So that's just an example about a goal and goal setting and how I calendar it out. The other tools that I like to use, I actually use a tool called Evernote. And it's really useful because it syncs with your laptop, your desktop, your phone. And whenever an idea comes to you, you can just jot it down and it appears everywhere. For myself, my ideas, they come everywhere. I keep my phone in my pocket. I'm pretty much, when I'm around the house, I'm going upstairs, downstairs, and if something hits me, a moment of inspiration, I pause, I type it out. You can even voice record on this Evernote app. It's amazing. It's a great tool. And if you haven't checked it out yet, I do advise you to just take a quick look and see if it works for you. There are different plans that are available. So they do have kind of a get starter plan for free. And you can just kind of test it out and see if it works for you. And if you really do like it, then you can actually take it a little bit deeper. And it has some really cool features for that. So if you have joined the call, I like to kind of just give some tips in between. If you've joined the call, you would like to join the conversation, and you're watching through Google, there will be a box that appears here. It says join the conversation. Just click on that. Another window will open up, which is the Google Plus window, and you will select the 9 squares either in this area or this area. Just hover right over them and click the Q&A app. The Q&A app will actually open up a side panel where you can type in your questions and we can answer them live. So wonderful. Let me see. I'm just going to double check on our special guest and make sure that he is able to connect. Let's see. Okay. So he must still be working on that. The link is clear. Okay. Here we go. We're trying that one again. All right. So hopefully he'll be joining us shortly. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm sure everything will iron out pretty quickly here soon. So what is the next thing? Well, this is actually kind of a fun question. I always like to ask my interviewees, and it's talking about fears, and basically to name one of the biggest fears that you've ever had and how you overcame it. And the first one that obviously comes to my mind is the fear of heights. When I was younger, I really had this huge kind of fear of heights, and I think a lot of people have that. But on my 25th or so birthday, I think it was, I decided I was going to fight that fear, and I was going to do that by going skydiving. So I got my sister and my cousin, and we went out to a place in California. I think it was Hemet. And I searched out this place. We went there. We got all geared up. And what I didn't realize is my sister had even a bigger fear of heights than I had. And it was my birthday, so it was all about me. And I remember putting on the gear and just kind of like not even feeling into it, like just going. Getting into the plane, they kind of just shuffle you in, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna be the first one to jump out. So I jump in the plane. My sister jumps in behind me. We're sitting there with our coaches who are strapped to us, and we go up and up and up and up. And I'm not looking down. I'm just looking away. And all of a sudden, I hear the pilot say, okay, now's the time, and let's get ready to go, and open up the door. And it happened so quick that because I came into the airplane first and my sister came in second, she was the one closest to the door. So she, in fact, was the first one to jump out. The look on her face of this fear was so great and I couldn't believe that I saw my sister just fall out of this airplane. And I see her falling, and then it was my turn to go, and I almost had no fear because I saw that she went down, and it's almost like I needed to go and reach her and catch her and be there for her. And of course, once you're free falling, it's a completely different experience. I completely, I think, forgot about my sister when I was free falling. There was a camera on me. But I just remember that sense of really floating, like you almost feel like you have no weight to you whatsoever. And you're really just kind of floating and doing nothing. I mean, the air is flying through your hair and you've got these goggles on. It's the closest thing that you can ever feel to actually flying yourself. And for myself, I knew that it was an experience I didn't want to end. And what was really interesting is, you go through a training prior and your coach who's strapped to you tells you that he's going to give you the sign as to when you have to pull the chute. And he gave me the sign and I saw it, but that feeling of just free falling, I just didn't want it to end. And I waited and I waited, and he actually reached down to almost grab the chute, and then I pulled it myself. But and that experience was really great, just kind of gliding and seeing the ocean, and it was just really, really amazing. So that was actually me getting over my fear of heights. I hope you kind of like that story. Everybody has some kind of fear, right? Okay, so let me just take a look at the chat box. I do see our special guest here. So let's see if we can activate him to come onto the call live. Let's see. Oh, taking me into another window. Apologize about that. Just a moment here. All right. Currently answering. All right, Mero, so you are listening. I see that you are on. I cannot actually link you. So, okay, you've actually left, it looks like, and you're going to be coming back on board. We'll see how that works. We have had some technical difficulties on the other calls, and this is what I found worked the best. So we will see. I'm in there. We'll see how this works again. Let's try it one more time. Thank you all for your patience. I really appreciate it. These are 21st century problems, right? At least we don't have to worry about any saber-toothed tigers or so. All right, so hopefully he'll be joining us shortly. And until then, I would like to field any calls from you or questions that you might have. Maybe you'd like to actually share your fear and see what it is that you came up against and how you were able to get over that. I guess when I really look at how I was able to get over my fear was realizing that there was somebody so close to me, my sister, who had an even larger fear of the same thing. And that's what really, I believe, propelled me to just leap out of this airplane and go after her. So yeah, I'm sure everybody has their own little story. There's plenty of fears, I'm sure, that come up, but that's actually the first one that comes to mind. And how I was able to overcome it was actually just really face it head on. And there's a lot of strength, I think, and a lot of power that we don't necessarily, give ourselves for the things that we have been able to accomplish. And sometimes it really takes somebody to really address it, really shine a light on it, and really show you that, what you were able to accomplish was no small feat. Jumping out of an airplane over a mile high into the sky, not a lot of people can actually do that. But if it's something that you would like to do, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It is a great thing to be able to, again, just a free fall for me was the ultimate feeling that I ever felt, pretty much. Okay, I'm trying to connect here. I'm so sorry I'm not able to get on this with our special guest. So we're going to try this one more time. See if that one works. Okay. All right. So while we're waiting for Mero to join, I do want to talk to you a little bit more about, let's see, where are we at right now? Being present. That is one of the words that actually has come up a lot this week. And it's about being present in the moment that you currently are. Oh. Sorry, I was just taking a look at the questions here. So being present. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we actually have a message from one of our guests who also did some skydiving, it seems like. You did it and you loved it. I totally hear you and I know where you're coming from. I wanted to go right back up immediately, right following, but you know, we had other plans and we needed to get going. But going with 7 friends and your brother, that must have been really, really amazing. I don't know if you had a chance to videotape your free fall, but even watching that, it was so long ago. I have to tell you, mine's on VHS, and I've never really transposed it yet, but I really should, because I think it's something to really look back on and just really be proud of the fact that you were able to do that. I look forward to doing it again too, and my husband actually wants to do it, so we were thinking of doing that maybe together. I know it's been many years since we talked about that, but maybe he's still up for it. Who knows? We have a little guy now too, so you know, it's that little thought in your mind about fearing your life and really jumping out there. Who knows? We will see if we have another episode with me actually jumping out of an airplane. Which, speaking of next episodes, you know, I do want to share with you that I am going to be coming to you live, not next week, but the following week. The first Wednesday in August, coming to you live from California, Southern California, which is actually where I was born and raised. So I'm really excited that I'm going to be there with a group of women who are in a program that I'm in. We're basically finishing off our program. It's a year-long program. And we're all going to be in the same place at the same time. And you can imagine the energy that is going to be created. I know that our first live event that we had was in Miami, and the processing that happens during, it's almost like this ball of, you know, this atom that's just like growing all this energy. And it, not that it implodes, but it just feels like all of the energy and all the positiveness, all this love that you feel, it takes a lot of energy out of you. Like you almost need to have a vacation following some kind of program that you are embodied with all these women and all this feminine energy. But we are doing it again. We're doing it for the last time. And like I said, I'm going to be coming to you live. Hopefully I'm going to look for a spot where I can have the beach in the background and give you guys some nice scenery back there. But I'm really excited to go back. It will be a quick trip for me. As I said, I was born and raised there, and every time I go down, it's almost like it could be a 2 or 4 week vacation, because I have so many friends and family to visit all up and down the coast. So really look forward to seeing some family, my sister and her 2 kids, and also a lot of my feminine sisterhood. And look forward to bringing that to you live. Gonna double check here. So we're at about halfway point, and I believe that our guest is still having trouble connecting. We're gonna try one more time. Make sure nothing has changed. All right. And you know what? At the end of the day, if it doesn't work out today, well, there is always next time. So I really hope that Mero can connect. Let's see. No, I'm sorry, Mero, I'm not able to see you. So I see your question here. Still can't see you on. There we go. Very interesting. Yeah, really sorry about this, guys. I was really looking forward to introducing you to Mero Live. Um, but fear not. We're going to definitely have another opportunity to be able to do this. So this rather. I do see your messages, Mero, but for some reason I don't see you joining as a presenter. So I have sent you the link so that you can actually connect. And yeah, beyond that, I'm not sure what else that we can actually do to have you connect. So again, my apologies. I'm sure he'll be connecting soon. And if not, then we can always reschedule this call to a different time. So where were we? We were talking about being present and being present in the moment. Pardon me while I get some water. So being present and in the moment is really a gift, I believe. We tend to go through life so quickly, so rushed, so maybe even overwhelmed with everything that happens around us, whether for myself, it's, taking my son to school or going to get groceries, making phone calls, booking appointments, working on your business. We can always get so busy and really lose sight of the moment that we have in front of us. Going back to gratitude as well, because having gratitude for being present is really important for, I believe, a balanced life. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything is going to be, all roses all the time, but even in those times, and almost especially in those times when things are not rosy, is when we're able to have our best reflections as to what is going on in our life. And if we're not fully present and open and welcoming of the lesson that we can learn, we miss a huge opportunity to further develop ourselves and further develop even those around us. I'm just trying to think of analogies or experiences that I've been through where being fully present was something that, granted me an opportunity with someone that I never would have had the opportunity to. And I think one of the ones that comes up is, being at the grocery store and the grocery clerk, just kind of checking you out, getting your food and whatnot. And typically I have my son with me. But just being able to be present with that person at that moment and asking them, like really, truly, genuinely asking and caring how their day is going and, how busy has it been? Did you just start your shift? That you actually care for that other human being. I mean, you think about they're on their feet their whole shift. And for somebody to come up, a complete stranger, and express really interest and their gratitude for what it is that they're doing that allows me, the purchaser, to have healthy food for my family. And I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful for the store. I'm grateful for the person actually standing there in front of me. And with this example, I remember the person just almost having a scowl on their face. And I have to say, I don't know if it's sadomasochistic of me, but a lot of times I'll look at all the cashiers and I'll see who has the saddest face or the most non-emotional face. And I try to get into their line and actually strike up a conversation with them. Because for us to spend typically 8 hours at a job, and be unhappy in it, I mean, that makes that 8 hours seem like an eternity. So if I'm able to just show some curiosity, so show some caring for that person, I think I've almost cut their time in half, or at least made it a lot more joyful. And that's just really me paying attention and being present in my moment. And what does it take for me to be able to do that? It really takes me being clear in my mind, clear as to what my intentions are, and clear in my purpose in life, and really trying to make everybody's life better. You know, getting into the coaching industry, I've actually heard from people, a lot of, gurus talking about, you can't help everyone, you can't help everyone. And I don't know, I still have this within me that I really think you can at least help everyone that you come into contact with. Even the people that maybe want nothing to do with you or don't even know who you are, you can have an impact in their life. I see it with my son, and I see it with the kids that are in his classroom. Those children don't know me, but almost every time I go in there, I'm surrounded by children and hugged, and like my legs, I can't move. And it's, I believe, because of the presence that I have when I go in and I spend time with him. I go and pick him up. I'm actually curious. I asked him about, what is he painting? And the children just seem to desire that. And I think children are probably like the best guides for this, because they have like really no filters, right? Like and they can also sense people. They really get a feeling as to what's going on with someone without even saying anything. They're very heightened senses, and I really think they're quite intuitive themselves. But yeah, so about me being able to be present in that moment, it's really about me being able to take care of myself. And you all know I'm a huge proponent about self-care, and some people might call that self-care as, buying yourself things. For me, self-care is just really taking care of your whole self, starting from your mind, your heart, your spirit, your body, of course, and also the desires and the wants and the needs that you have to feel happy, to feel content, to feel completely fulfilled in your life. And that also involves the business that you're in. If you're in a business that is completely fulfilling, that is allowing you to share all of your gifts, your achievements, your challenges, your experiences, and your talents, you all know I call those my gassets. If you're in a job or a career that allows you to share all of that from you, I believe that's when you're completely fulfilled. I know for myself, I've spent a lot of time with that little star of mine, and what I've been able to pull from all of these places is really what I have to share with the world, is really what I have to be able to gift for my clients, to gift to anybody who comes into contact with me. Now, I have to be in the right state of mind and really be able to be present to be able to do that. And that means that my cup also needs to be filled up. That means that I need to be taking care of myself so that I can give of myself and to the world and let them experience me and really the best of me. It's not to say that, I never have a bad day. Like, everybody has bad days. But instead of bad days, I really attempt to turn those bad days into, maybe bad hours instead. Being depressed is not a great place to be. I've had my bouts of depression. I'll go into my full story later, but very, very early on, I dealt with a huge loss in my life. And it was something that I never wish it on my worst enemy. And there was a full year that passed after that time. And it was really a year I no longer wanted to live. And I had this conversation with a friend yesterday, and we shared the fact that, during addiction, during depression, there's actually a lot of strength that comes from that. And the people who are addicted, the people who are depressed, they really don't feel strong at all whatsoever. But I'll put it to you this way. If an addict is an addict, they will do anything for their next fix. They will move mountains. They will crawl. My friend said they will crawl on broken glass in a hailstorm to get to the liquor store to get their next drink. And that takes a lot of strength. If you really think about it, it takes a lot of strength to be able to get past that. For someone who's depressed, it might be just being able to wake up in the morning and get out of bed, maybe even take a shower sometimes. That requires a lot of strength to be able to do that in that state of mind. So I have to agree with my friend and what he said about there being so much strength in these dark, dark moments that we have. And when I look at the moments that I've had in my life that have not been the most joyous, I've always tried to pull from it the lesson, because in every experience that we have in life, there are lessons. And the lessons, if we basically don't spend any time, not maybe dissecting them, but giving them the proper time to analyze, to really experience and embody and really reflect on, what it is that you got and that you felt, I think that, it's all for naught. And not only that, if you're able to achieve success or get through that very dark spot in your life, that is something you'll be able to share with others, and maybe not share the true or the exact experience the way it was, but share in a way that you have empathy for them, that you really know what they're experiencing or what they're feeling, even though each situation is different. But you really can get a sense for, maybe losing a loved one, or, being fired from a job. And you can really, really empathize with them. And I think at the end of the day, that's what everybody in this world really wants, including that cashier that I was thinking about earlier, is they want people to empathize with them and to really know that they get them, that they get where they're feeling, where they've been, and that there is a way out. That someone's standing right there before them saying, I was in the exact same shoes that you are, and I was able to get out. This is how I did it. It may not work for you, but at least it'll provide you some insight, and also maybe just a glimmer of hope that, you can see somebody having gone, through the rough spots, and maybe not completely victorious, but at least be able to come out on the other end with all their limbs intact, and alive for the most part. So whenever you find yourself in maybe a difficult time in your life, maybe you're in a difficult time in your life now, seek out people who can really empathize with you. Read books, listen, even watch movies that are inspirational from something that might mirror or be a similar circumstance to the one that you're in. Doesn't mean it's going to make it all better just like that. I mean, you still have to get the lesson yourself, but at least it'll give you a little bit of hope as to getting through on the other end. Really being able to trust in yourself and believe in yourself, and see that what you have to learn is what actually you have to share with the world. God gave us, God-given gifts. He gave us talents. We're the ones who had the achievements. We're the ones who went through the challenges. We're the ones who went through the experiences. And all of these things together is what make the you. Like, it's basically you are inside of that star. And what I'm trying to share with you, or where this is kind of going, is just this is what I think our life is meant to be. This star, the center of the star, to be able to package all this and be able to share it with the world. That is something I've been spending a lot of time on lately. I've been working on ideas for a program, and I've shared it a little bit, but doing some deep inner work on that, and also reflecting on a lot of people around me, you know, clients and friends, and some of the challenges that they've actually gone through and how they've been able to get to the other side. And for some people, you know, it's people who are actually still in it and still going through it. But when I see these gassets all packaged up in one, and that they're able to embrace them, you know, the good with the bad, because as my mentor says, for one thing to exist, the opposite must also exist. So you have to always remember that. If you're in a depressed state, if you're going through a challenge right now, the opposite also exists. Maybe you don't know how to get there. And of course, there is only, you know, one shortest distance between A and B. And for the most part, for entrepreneurs, we're like this. You know, maybe we don't take the most direct route. It'd be great if we could all the time. And in some cases we do. But I've always thought that you build a lot of character. You build a lot of experience, of course, but I really feel it comes down to character and wisdom that you experience from taking that squiggly route to get from point A to point B. So yeah, I'm sorry, that just kind of went off on a tangent there, but I hope that kind of resonated with any of you who are listening. That's something, again, that I really hold near and dear to my heart. It's something that I've spent a lot of time on, and even my own personal journey. And what I've seen a lot with, you know, with my clients, with my friends, especially those recently, you know, going through motherhood and kind of transitioning, being in our 40s and, you know, having a child literally in our 40s, and, you know, being pretty selfish, I guess, up until this point, and then all of a sudden having a little being who's completely 100% dependent on us. It's a challenge, and it does take some time to kind of really accept and embrace that challenge, as it is with anything in life. So yeah, I'm, you know, I believe in divineness, and the timing is perfect. So this is what I was meant to share with you today. I am very sorry for those of you who were looking forward to listening to Mero Samuel speak today. I'm really, really sorry about the technical difficulties. But again, I believe this is where you were meant to be, and what you were meant to listen to, and the stories that I was meant to share with you. So to kind of recap, we have about 7 minutes left in the episode here. And for those of you who are on and would like to ask any questions, I'd like to open it to any Q&A. If you'd like to share, if you'd like to ask a question, if you would like to know something in particular, please type it in the type box, and I'd be happy to take your questions now. And yeah, I'll just take a quick glance here and make sure that, I mean, I guess the episode is pretty much over, so we're not going to be bringing on our guests for 5 minutes. Yeah, okay. Let me see here. But please type in your questions. I'm happy to actually answer them if you'd like to bring them on. All right, shrink that down. All right, so again, if you have any questions, please type them in the chat box. I'll just do a quick recap about what we spoke of, what I can actually remember. I know that I spoke about my skydiving experience and how to actually get over your fears. I spoke about gratitude and being able to not only give gratitude and be grateful for the things that are around you and that the gifts that you're given, but to also be able to receive gratitude. And just the special gift and the importance of being able to do that. It does take some practice. Just a little reminder, it does take practice to be able to receive it. And some of the easiest ways to get started is to say thank you. And that's when somebody actually gives you a compliment. So that's the easiest way to start accepting gratitude. So people giving you thanks for the things that you have done, and you saying thank you or you're welcome, and just leaving it at that instead of trying to make an excuse or a reason for having maybe that dress or doing that certain thing, volunteering, for example. So just really being able to embody it, and don't shortchange the giver on the thank you that they're actually providing you, because there's also a gift that they receive when they give gratitude to you, just as much as there's a gift that you receive when you give gratitude to someone else. So keep that in mind, and the next time that you're sharing any kind of gratitude with your people around you, it might be clients, it might be family members, it might just be the grocery clerk at the store whenever you go to the grocery store next. The other things I shared, so we actually shared some of the tools that I use with the calendars, and Evernote is something that enticed you guys to also use, or at least look up and see if it's something that might work for you. One tidbit of information I want to give you there is to remember that there are tons of apps, there are tons of methods and ways to do things, and there's not just one right way. We're each unique individuals, and each unique individual needs one-on-one kind of personalized plan to be able to accomplish things in the way that they know best. I know this greatly because I've been in group programs where there's a clear structure and clear outline as to what we're supposed to be accomplishing and doing step by step. And there were a few things that just really did not resonate with me. And you really have to be okay with taking what works for you and leaving the rest. And I say that from a group program, but I even think, when you have a coach and you're speaking to them one-on-one, and they might give you a suggestion, you really need to feel into it and say, that's something that I feel confident doing, comfortable doing. And if it's not, you really need to be able to speak up. There is an opportunity there to dive a little bit deeper. I mean, sometimes the reasons that you kind of have these walls going up is because there might be a fear there that you don't know yet, but you might need to actually get through. And for other reasons, it might just be that it's just really not in alignment with your values or your goals or your ethics or even your morals. And you need to feel confident speaking up and saying that. It'll be really interesting to figure out, or it would be really interesting to figure out what actually comes from that conversation. So I advise you to inquire just a little bit deeper on that. So that's with the tools. And what was the last thing that we talked about? Just really defining success. And that's actually the first thing we talked about. And what success really means for you. For a mother, it might be raising, great adults. That's something that was in the back of my mind when I was pregnant with my son, is I was raising the next generation, and how I desired the world to look like in the next 20 years, and what kind of a person I see leading that. And that's always in the back of my mind as a mom, and what I want to be a successful mom at. There's obviously success in business that you want to have, success in relationships. So really clearly defining what success means for you is a great exercise to practice and get really, really clear on, so that you know your purpose in life and that you can actually keep on keeping on. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, again, I apologize for the technical difficulties and not bringing on our said guest this time. I did mention that he is coming in, or he was coming in from Australia, so maybe, you know, the internet was just not working today. So I do promise that I will be bringing him to you live going forward. And until then, you know, I welcome you to find me at isabelstarck.com if you have any questions. I also have the Fiercely Feminine Entrepreneur Group. Would love to have you in there, as it's a great community of support and inspiration and just really connection with other women who are on the same path as you, building your business. So thank you once again for joining on. I really look forward to seeing you guys next week. All the details will be posted on my Facebook page, which is Isabel Starck. All right, you guys have a great day, good afternoon, good morning, and good night, and I'm signing off. Bye-bye for now.